Hi, everybody. Jay Privman along with Marty McGee. We do the Derby Watch Top 20 every week here at DRF.com. And Marty, one of the big races on the road to the Kentucky Derby every year is the Rebel Stakes. And it's a major prep for the Arkansas Derby, a major prep for the Kentucky Derby. And we've got 4 members of the Derby Watch Top 20 scheduled to run in this race. As we're taping this, the race has yet to be drawn. But let's go through this field and talk about our impressions of the top contenders in this race that we've got on our top 20 list, beginning with Nadal. He's going to stretch out for the first time around 2 turns after 2 sprint wins at Santa Anita. What are your thoughts on Nadal, who you've got very highly ranked currently on our top 20 list?
Well, clearly he's done nothing wrong yet, Jay. He's the 6-1 third choice behind his Bob Baffert stablemate Authentic and the Florida-based Tiz the Law. After that, we have A.T. Indian at 10-1 and on beyond that with the longer shots. But Bob has done this before with American Pharoah, most notably, send him to Oaklawn Park and keep him away from some of his other Derby contenders. And it's worked quite well for him in the past. And I assume that he thinks that Nadal is going to run a big one here on Saturday at Oaklawn Park.
His last race was in the San Vicente at Santa Anita. That's a 7-furlong race. And Marty, I thought it was a really deceptively good performance on his part because it was an extremely fast pace. He shouldn't have to go that fast early when he goes around 2 turns. And I think he's going to be better off for it. And I think you'll see a better performance from him. He's a huge horse, weighing in at more than 1,300 pounds. You don't want to get in his way or he'll run you over. But I'm eager to see him as he tries to go 2 turns for the first time on Saturday. He'll also be shipping out of town for the first time. So they're throwing a lot at him, and we'll get a much better line on just what kind of quality Nadal has when he runs in the Rebel Stakes. One of his top contenders in here is Silver Prospector, who comes off a win in last month's Southwest Stakes. He's one of 2 horses Steve Asmussen scheduled to have in this race. But let's talk first about Silver Prospector, and what were your impressions of his victory last time out?
Well, as we've noted in the Derby Watch, Jay, he now has 2 quality wins, having won the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes last fall at Churchill Downs and also the Southwest. But you could not have drawn up a better trip for him in winning the Southwest, the way he just tracked the pace and relaxed beautifully for Ricardo Santana Jr. And, you would have to doubt the odds are against him getting such a great trip this time. But the pace should set up for him with both Nadal and Baze coming off the long layoff, the other Steve Asmussen horse. So maybe Santana can work out the same kind of trip for him this time.
And let's take a longer look now at Baze, as you mentioned, coming off a long layoff. In fact, has not raced since Labor Day. His last race was on closing day of Saratoga. He won the Grade 1 Hopeful Stakes. So he's coming into this race off a layoff of more than 6 months. He's going to be going 2 turns for the first time. They're throwing a lot at him, but he looks like he's had a really strong series of works coming into this race. And I'm eager to see this horse run, but I'm going to stay on the fence regarding him till I see how well he does going 2 turns for the first time. Where are you at in terms of just how good this horse might be?
Well, a couple things about him, Jay. He's reminding me to this point of Sonny's Halo, who did not run in a prep until the Rebel, and then ran in the Arkansas Derby, and of course he won the Kentucky Derby. There's that. And also I talked to Steve Asmussen shortly after Basin worked on March the 2nd at Fairgrounds before Steve sent him, was arranging to have him sent to Oaklawn Park. And he was almost giddy. Wow. So he really likes the way that this horse has been training. Clearly, there's a question of the layoff and the added distance. And I think he might be a little bit keen. He will have Javier Castellano to calm him down. But a lot of questions surrounding Basin in here, but he's really an exciting prospect, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best 2-year-olds we saw in the country last year before he had to go to the sidelines. The last of the 4 horses on our Derby Watch list who's running in the Rebel on Saturday is 3 Technique. And to learn a little bit more about him, he's the horse that I highlighted in my weekly feature, which you'll find at drf.com. But let's talk about him from a handicapping standpoint, Marty. He comes off a second-place finish in the Smarty Jones. Silver Prospector, who we were just talking about, finished fourth in that race and came back to win the Southwest, a race that Three Technique skipped. So in terms of the form line, that's a pretty good push, I think, for Three Technique. What do you think of this colt?
Absolutely. It's must-read material, too, that you filed on August Dawn Farm and Englehart and Three Technique. Pretty solid effort here in the Smarty Jones. Couldn't catch the Lone Speed Asmussen winner, but overall a very useful effort. As you mentioned in your piece, Jay, they have 4 preps for the Kentucky Derby at Oaklawn, all at 2 turns. Jeremiah Englehart thought it prudent to run him in just 3, so here they are after the one in the bank, and now this one, and then they'll go on to the Arkansas Derby. I think he's got a solid chance in here the way that Nadal and Baze both will probably be fairly early in this, and Three Technique certainly looks like he has the capability of closing into a fast pace.
Yeah, this is a horse I've had on my radar since he won a maiden race last summer at Saratoga, but this will be his biggest test yet, and we'll find out just how good he is when he runs in the Rebel Stakes on Saturday. Well, that's our look at the Rebel. There's one other point-scoring race on Saturday. That's the Jeff Ruby Stakes at Turfway. That's worth 20 points to the winner. The Rebel worth 50 points to the winner, 85 overall. Marty and I will be back next week to recap the Rebel and preview the races next weekend, including the Louisiana Derby. Also, right now at DRF.com, you can find our recap of last week's big races, including the San Felipe Stakes from Santa Anita, as well as the Tampa Bay Derby and the Gotham. For Marty McGee, I'm Jay Privman. Thanks for watching.